John P.
And I'm Callie Lewis. Welcome to CE Week 2014.
This is going to be an exciting show. We are here in New York. We've got all kinds of amazing content all day long. We're going to be coming at you, so stay tuned on
I'm super
YouTube
excited
and
because
else.
we have, we go to CES every year. We show you all sorts of gadgets, and then we get to do it again halfway throughout the year. And I actually have never talked to the next company that we're talking to, ReSound.
That's right. We've got Mike here from ReSound. Thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
The show's just getting kicked off. Have you gotten to see anything yet?
Not really. I made a quick lap around about half of it.
Yeah.
So I look forward to walking all around and
It takes
seeing all
hours.
the fun gadgets.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's good stuff.
Before we get into it and hear all about the ReSound links, we want you to know we're paying attention to you.
That's
we
right.
want to hear your questions, get your feedback, so make sure you're chiming in the chat room at geekbeat.tv/live.
And also, if you happen to be watching the pre-recorded version of this, drop a comment down in the comments, and we will be reading those and following up.
Funny how you comment in the comment
I know.
box, John.
It's very meta.
Meta.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get right back to it. So,
What is ReSound links exactly?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and actually, I'm wearing a pair of them. I want to make sure I don't take off the
Oh,
It looked
wow.
like he
the
was
headset.
wearing his mic, but
Yeah,
no, oh my goodness.
I'm actually wearing them. They are hearing aids, and really not just hearing aids. It's the world's smartest hearing aid. The world's
Is it an amplifier or is it a
best
hearing aid?
Great question. It is a hearing aid, and what that means is its first job is to help people with hearing loss. So if you have a hard time hearing in noisy environments or quiet environments, a lot of people don't realize, 1 out of 10 Americans have hearing loss, so they could be using a hearing aid. And when you get into the ages 60 and over, it's about 3 out of 10.
Wow.
So a lot of people walking around think maybe people are mumbling, or they think that things are just too noisy, and it's because they have a hearing loss.
Now, Pablo the intern
hearing
really
aid first.
does mumble.
Pablo, if you hang out with Pablo enough, you will need some of these, okay? Because you can't hear him.
But here's the deal. So, John, you actually have experienced some of the need for something like this because you had a bad infection several years ago, and lost about, 50%?
That's true.
Really?
I was in the Marine Corps, and so part of the military entrance testing, they do hearing tests.
Yes, right.
And when I went through the hearing test, I was like perfect. I was like off the charts. I could hear so well. And then a few years later, I got an ear infection for the first time ever in my life, and it was so bad, the doctors just couldn't get rid of it for like a month. And in fact, I lost all my hearing in one ear for like weeks. And then it came back. Now, it never even occurred to me that I wouldn't get it all back. I just thought, well, I have an infection. When it goes away, I'll be normal. Well, when it went away, I was left with only about half, maybe like half my hearing in one of my ears. So that was pretty devastating, because...
So, do you wear hearing aids?
I don't have a hearing aid, but she tells me I should get one.
Right.
But it's just the one ear, like it's very imbalanced. So, for example, in an environment like this, I'll often turn. Right now I have my little IFBs in.
Sure.
But if you were talking to me in this noisy environment,
he will concentrate very hard on you.
I'll stare at your lips,
and
I'll turn to get my good ear at you.
Yeah.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Well, and that's exactly what these are designed to help with. So, what you explain, whether it's a sudden hearing loss or a gradual hearing loss, people have such a hard time in the environments where they want to hear the most. So at restaurants or when they're interacting with people. So, these are designed to identify speech and then avoid the noise. So it's not just an amplifier that makes everything louder. That wouldn't provide a lot of benefit.
It has digital signal processing.
Exactly. They've got DSP. They're intelligent. The other thing they do in terms of a hearing aid is they talk to each other. So let's say you needed 2 hearing aids, which you may or may not. Just like you have 2 ears and your brain sort of synthesizes and makes them work together, these actually talk to each other and help give you the best really signal to noise ratio, the best aid.
So if one ear is stronger, it's going to accommodate for that.
Yeah, if there's noise in one spot and not another, if speech is over here and noise is over there, it can help you really hone in on the
That's
speech
amazing.
that
That
is what
is
you want to
amazing.
hear.
Okay,
So,
they're
Okay, so
really
I have-
tiny. I'm assuming they're also very light.
yeah, I
The
mean,
Yeah, they
question
are
is,
light.
they're really
how about battery
unnoticeable.
life, and do you charge them, or what do you
Yeah.
do? How
Yep.
do they work?
It looks like there's a charger right here. Or a
And
mic.
actually,
no, what is that?
There's a tiny little battery in here, and they last about 5 days to a week. And
What?
the batteries are really cheap, so you can
Oh,
get the
look at that.
batteries
Wow.
wherever you, from your audiologist, where you purchase your hearing aids. You can get them at a drugstore, grocery store. If you don't wear hearing aids, you probably don't know they're there, but all those places, they sell batteries. So this, when it comes to a hearing aid, you know, we're really proud. There was a third-party study. It received the top ranking for sound quality. So more than anything, you want them to have great sound quality, which really means you want to feel like you're not wearing them.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just working, right?
Right. Yeah.
So these rated top in the world for sound quality. But the other thing they do, and they're the first in the world to do this, the only ones that do it this way, they work with your iPhone.
what?
So if you've got an iPhone, and let's say we're in a noisy environment,
Okay.
and you want them a little louder, we've got an app, and all you have to do, and I'll turn it towards the
No.
camera,
so cool.
is make a little adjustment.
That's awesome.
So you don't have to adjust
so
it on your
because
ear,
this
or
is the volume button, right? Or an
that changes
adjustment button.
the programs. So the other thing is you can have your audiologist set up special programs so the hearing aids work even better in everyday situations,
Wow.
in restaurants, when you're on the phone. There's dozens of different settings the audiologist can
amazing.
put in there,
And I've
and
heard
you just jump to
stories
them.
about how this technology works from a situational awareness
Yeah.
standpoint. They do a lot of studies, and they go into places like restaurants, and they record just all
Ambient
the noise,
noise
the
and-
ambient noise.
Yeah.
Is that part of what's happening here?
Yeah, we've got engineers that do nothing but specialize in digital signal processing,
Yeah.
and they understand, speech and acoustics and restaurants and noises like
That's
that. So they
awesome.
spend a ton of time trying to make them work in those really difficult environments. Because again, they're great in a quiet room. But when you really need them, it's
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
this, or a restaurant,
Sure.
something
In
like
a quiet room, I can talk to you and ask you to speak up a little bit or something.
Exactly.
And in
Right.
a noisy environment, it's
There's
very hard.
nothing you can do.
Okay, we don't have
Well,
much time, but
but
I
we
do have a
have
couple extra questions.
And we have some questions from the chat room.
Okay. Also, it looks like, is that a little case for it or something?
Yeah, that's just the case they come in. So
Okay, so you can store 'em in there.
Little example there. Yep. And then
Keep 'em
again,
safe.
yeah, keep them safe.
But
And-
that's a bigger case than what. These are tiny.
You give them a little room. You don't want to squish them. They gotta have breathing
Well,
room.
and for the most part, if you wear them, you don't need the case. You wear them all day,
Right,
then you
right.
sit them there when you go to bed at night.
Okay,
Okay,
how
okay.
can I get some?
Yep.
And how much do they cost?
Great question.
Wait, before we get to that, we need
But
to back
Callie's
it
got
up
a
a
better
little.
We
question,
do?
I guess.
Okay.
Not a better question. Just we can end on that note.
Okay.
So distant soil Mark in the chat room was wondering: is hearing aid as a whole? Is it an ADA thing, or is it a medical device?
It falls in one of the a medical device category.
Okay, so you need to go to your doctor.
You can go to your doctor, but the quickest way is to find a local audiologist or hearing aid dispenser. They'll give you a hearing test to see if it makes
Okay.
sense, if you need it. Then they'll determine what type of hearing aid you need. And what's nice about this is it works with virtually all hearing losses. So
Okay.
if this is something you're interested in, it's an option. One other thing I want to quickly point out is, in addition to the adjustments with the hearing aid, it also streams music, telephone calls.
Oh,
so that's another
awesome.
unique thing. So we're sort of
No.
blending everyday consumer electronics and streaming and what you're starting to do
Wait, do
anyway
they have a
with
microphone
hearing aids.
built into them?
They absolutely do.
Oh
so
my
for
You
you-
God.
take a phone call through that.
Yep. And
I want one of these just for that purpose, because I don't want to wear a big Bluetooth earpiece.
Oh,
Okay,
exactly.
wait,
And you
we're-
can set the phone right here. I could set the phone right here and pick up your speech through the phone. So let's say we're other ends of the room, and someone like yourself who has a hearing loss, we could converse that way. So it's a real
Or like if
hybrid
you're
of all
listening to a
this.
speech, if someone was, you could leave your thing on the podium
If
and you
you're
can
at
hear
a
them.
presentation, if you're, let's say, at church,
That's awesome.
somewhere where you want to hear somebody that's far away, set this up there, and you've got your own direct streaming right into your hearing aids.
I'm
Okay,
sold.
okay.
Okay, so now how do we get
Now,
them?
actually, there's 3 questions.
3 questions.
One was, you mentioned iPhone. Does it work with Android?
So it can work with Android. There's a little device that you use that you can clip on your shirt, clip to your jacket, that works as a little intermediary.
Okay.
And as long as you've got the intermediary, it works with all types of cell phones.
Okay.
So Android, some of the older models, all sorts of phone you can use with the little intermediary.
Okay. Number 2, where do I get it? Which I think you kind of answered.
Yep.
We go to our
Yeah.
audiologist. And number 3, what's the cost for something like this?
Yep. And just to finish the answer on where do you get it, audiologist hearing aid dispenser. If you're not sure where to start, you can go to ReSoundLinks.com. And
LiNX.
LiNX, yeah, we had to
Yep.
get cute on the spelling. But then what we'll do is we'll connect you to an audiologist that is trained on the product, familiar with the product, and they can, if it's right for you, they can help you right away.
And are you pretty much set across the U.S.?
Yeah.
What about the world?
Yep, all
Just
over
US?
the world.
Oh, all
There's
over the
people-
world?
Yeah, it's
Fantastic.
we introduced it in February, and not surprisingly, there's global pickup pretty quickly with
course.
something like
And then
this.
how much?
How much? The pricing is set by that hearing care dispenser or the audiologist,
Yep.
because they'll often wrap in their services, the testing, but it can range anywhere from the low 2000s into the mid 3000s. And again, there's a couple different technology levels, and it depends on the service package. So that's set
depending
by
on
the
the options.
audiologist.
So
yeah.
maybe let's
Okay.
say we'll target in the $2,500 range or
Yeah,
something like that.
absolutely.
So, cool.
In the ballpark.
All right.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on. I don't know
I
why
know you
I'm
want
excited.
some.
I don't know why I'm excited by them because I don't necessarily need them.
I
but
probably need them.
You need
she
them.
just wants them.
I
Yeah.
just
I know
want
you
them
guys do
because
too.
they're so cool.
I know.
ReSound, ReSoundLinks.com. You guys go check it out. Be sure you're checking out all of our coverage here at geekbeat.tv/CE Week.
That's right. Stay tuned for more. We'll be back later. Thanks for checking in. I'm John P.
I'm Callie Lewis.
Bye, guys.
Bye.